Jason.
Danny.
How we doing, mate?
Great. Doing well. I'm not almost sick of you because I was working with you last night as well.
We were.
You know,
we were.
in our little tuxes.
Yes. Most overdressed people at that place.
Danny and I got hired to film a award ceremony for bartenders in Edinburgh.
Yep.
And we were dressed to the nines because it was a black tie event.
So it's my mate who runs the awards, and I said I'll come cover it for you because he's needing a bit of social media content and stuff like that. I was like, "What's the dress code?" Bartender's ball. I was like, "What's the dress code?" Oh yeah, kind of like mainly kind of like black tie and that. Not realizing that he's like one for sailing you up the river, And he's like, "Smart." I'm going in like a velvet suit, which to be fair he did. He was in that.
Yeah.
We were definitely the most overdressed people at that place.
Big time. The better people said, what award you up for tonight? I was like, they have film of the event.
Oh, it's funny.
Oh dear.
But it was good fun.
Yeah.
It was good fun.
So, anything else new?
Lots, actually, for a change, which is very exciting. I was contacted a few days ago by a certain company that we all use,
Oh yeah.
looking for me to be a little friend.
A friend?
A friend?
A friend of the brand?
A friend of the brand. So I'm super excited about that. Musicbed came and have asked me to endorse them, which I obviously wholeheartedly do anyway and tell everybody because I mean Musicbed is the best. There is no alternative. It was pretty. I don't know. It was quite a big moment because I was like, yes, I get one of those wee playlists.
Yeah, that's pretty fun to make, by the way. When you get the call, like I had great fun putting together my playlist, just going through my old favorite songs and stuff. But you get a little bio and stuff on there as well. So
I was like, yes,
welcome to the club, man.
I am making it. I am on there. I'm excited. Oh, just next to everybody else that's on it and stuff like that as well. So yeah, no, I was pretty buzzing. I was on a high, which was pretty cool.
Yeah. What picture are you going to use?
I think the one that I use in my profile picture because it's the best one that I've got. That's the one that the Ireland trip that we got.
The one in the seat. Yeah.
Because it's my favourite picture. Which actually, to be fair, because I've got a whole load of other stuff that's going on at the minute as well. Like rebrand is in full swing at the moment, and then the website we're getting worked on. Copy's done. Copy's class from John Carpenter. If you need website copy, go and check him out. Sophie from Loyal Studios doing my branding, so they're just a power duo. Everything's in full swing, but I am actually going to be in need of some like studio headshots for the new because I don't really have any.
So photographers,
hit me up because I need you. And then I got this. So pretty. Look at the color.
What's the point of the case, really? Honestly,
to protect it, because I drop phones.
I just thought that was the color of the case, but the color of the phone. No, that's the case.
And then I got a new wallet, also orange.
Yeah, very nice.
Just everything is orange. Even my card from Monzo is orange.
Yeah, that's a cracking
that is
phone.
Like a combo.
Yeah, for those just listening, he's got the new iPhone 17.
The iPhone 17 Pro.
Yeah, who cares?
Yeah, but no, it's good. Front-facing cameras class. Yeah, I'm pretty buzzing with it. And to be honest, like, I mean, look at the color. I mean, that's just, it's almost as if that was like crafted from my hands. My
mate leaves Apple tomorrow. Like, he stops working at Apple tomorrow, and he's just texted me there to say, if you want anything, let me know now so I get your discount. And I'm like, I need to save, but I also really like 17% discount off things that I love. So you can't leave then, can you? How dare he? I know. But yeah, so yeah, pretty happy with it. As I said, it's almost like it's been crafted for my hands. Yeah. But speaking of that, we have a very nice guest on today. That's good. Did you see what I done there? I tried to do it and he missed it. I didn't actually. Yeah, I always knew you're really good at linking these up, and I missed that one completely. You right over your head. You were too busy wanting to tell me about your Apple story. It went over your head. Because you said crafted for my hand. You said this has been handcrafted for me. That's what it should be. I know, but whatever. Just run with it. Anyway, we have Toby from Handcraft Pictures on the pod today. How you doing, mate?
Hey guys. I'm good, thank you. All good.
Good.
Busy September. I'm sure you were as well.
Yeah. Yeah. What is it with September? Like, I don't remember it always being statistically the busiest month, but for the last couple of years now, September has always been mad for me. It's been okay. It's not been like mega busy. I've had busier Septembers, to be fair. It's just my summer's been wild. Yeah.
Spring and summer was mental. So, but yeah, so thank you so much for coming on the pod, mate. Really, really looking. We've been meaning to get you on the pod for a while. For everybody, that listens to the pod at the moment, have probably noticed that there has been a distinct lack of guests on the pod for quite some time, and it has just been me and Jason. And the reason for that is because we've been, not that we've been like disorganized as such, but it's just that we have had no time to like, sometimes we've had to do like a pod at like 8 o'clock at night, or like sometimes like the night before the pod's meant to go out, and it's like we can't do that to a guest and just say like last minute, fancy doing a pod at 9 o'clock at night.
Yeah.
So I know what I'd say.
And of course, with some last minute changes and things with families and whatnot, we had some guests lined up and then we had to move things, so it just didn't work out. But
it didn't feel right. So, but now we're back at it, and we're kicking it off with a bang, and we're really looking forward to chatting to you, man. So.
It's impressive you guys get them out like every week. I think that is the thing. If ever I've tried this sort of thing in the past, like everyone, it just sort of fizzles out. The fact you've kept it going, I think it's really cool.
Yeah, I think when we did the
consistency is king and all that.
yeah. I mean, every single week is definitely
It's not easy.
It's definitely not easy. But we do enjoy it, and we'd love to like have guests on every single week. But it's just
logistics and stuff. It's just it doesn't always work out, and obviously the pods are longer. Sometimes it's more advantageous to do like a shorter pod sometimes than that as well. But
yeah, we're coming into winter now, so things are that's the busier kind of period of summer over, where every wedding videographer is usually really busy. So hopefully now we can get back into the swing of things, and all our madness is behind us.
But we're not far away from 100 episodes, like actual. Our 100th episode that's coming up probably in the next, I don't know, it'll be like in the next kind of couple of months, and then also I think in probably a month or maybe in a month and a half we should be at 25,000 downloads.
It's great,
which is good.
Buzzing.
Well done. But anyway, enough about
You're going to get some little balloons or something.
I know, right?
We've still got confetti cannons.
We've got confetti
in there.
cannons. Oh god,
we should really do that. But then it's the mess, because you need to clean it up. You can't just say to the venue staff, right, can you clean that up now? For our listeners that maybe are not familiar with your work in that, Toby, could you give us a little bit of an intro into you and your business, and kind of a little bit the origin as well of how it came about?
Yeah, sure. So I've been doing this for a while now. Since 2010, I started doing weddings. I filmed a few when I was at university, and thought it was quite fun for like mega cheap, like 300 quid or something. Stayed all day. The typical thing everyone does at first. You're like, I guess I've got to be here for like 14 hours or something. And then I had a couple of little jobs, but I just realised I wanted to work for myself. That was my main like driving thing to do it. I just wanted my own business and all that sort of thing. So weddings, I had a camera. I'd been shooting little things at uni with a camera, so I had a little basic video camera, and I shot a few. Luckily, I think I shot one for someone nearby where I lived, and then she had like a massive group of friends, and I did all their weddings, and I was just like suddenly getting all these bookings without having to try too hard, and that was nice. And I was pretty slow on the sort of working my way up sort of thing. I just did weddings locally for a long time. I guess I started before all the YouTube tutorials and Facebook groups and everything, so there wasn't like this quick progression into charging more or whatever when I started. It was just, I was just ticking along and enjoying it. Then when I moved to London, I just decided to completely rebrand. So that's when I changed my company name. It was just my name before, and just completely changed everything up, like the style. It was all a little bit more sort of cheesy music video stuff before, and I just decided at that moment this is just a chance to like completely change everything. And weirdly that worked pretty instantly. Like I just started booking different type of clients in London pretty much straight away from doing that rebrand. I got a whole new website and everything. And then from that was like 2015 or something, and since then I've pretty much kept things pretty stable. I just sort of learnt that being fairly consistent and having like a consistent brand is good. That recognition, people recognise you. So I've tried to keep things pretty much the same since then. Handcraft and everything's been around since then. but yeah, so now I'm into what is it? My 15th year, I guess. So
Well,
been doing it a while.
So yeah, in 2015, obviously you changed the style. Was there anyone or anything that you saw that instigated that change?
Trying to think. I think I might have had a look at some of the London videographers. I can't really remember. There might have been a few people around then who because I'd been doing weddings like in the countryside and barn weddings and all that. I just thought I need to change it up if I moved to London. So I probably looked around a little bit, and I guess I just had in mind that I wanted to go for a slightly more city and maybe like more sophisticated sort of wedding. And I just thought those sort of people probably don't want it to be like sort of happy. Well, not happy. they don't want it to be necessarily a little bit cheesy and all that. I wanted to go for something a little bit more serious. And I guess I was just influenced by London. It's black and white works nicely in London, that sort of thing. So I started trying out black and white stuff, which wouldn't have worked when I was in a cornfield or something.
Yeah.
I guess it was that. And I think music was the other thing. I started trying out different music like Musicbed and stuff, and I just realised you could maybe make your films a little bit more like a cinematic thing, a bit more classic, whereas the music I was using before was a little bit more poppy and that. So I think I was heavily influenced by changing up my music style. But it was a complete sudden change. What I managed to do is a couple of couples, I sort of tried to shoot their wedding in two ways almost. And I made like a trailer for myself, teaser for myself and a teaser for them. I didn't want people that had booked me that I suddenly just completely changed the film. So I basically just started making two teasers from every wedding. And only the new ones would go on my new website, and the others just went to the couple sort of thing. So that's how I sort of managed it, I guess.
Toby,
I did that for a couple of years. Yeah.
I love the fact that you're answering the questions. I'm just thinking in my head. I'm like, right, this question's coming up.
Oh,
next.
sorry.
And you're just like, okay, that's exactly what I want to know. Like how that transition, because when you're filming for one couples, but you want to deliver a different style, because that's something that I went through where I was doing cheesy classical stuff before, and I wanted to go into a switch up into energetic hyper weddings, and I was like, but they booked me for this, but I want to deliver this. How on earth do you do it? So delivering two different teasers, that's kind of a really smart way to do it.
Yeah. I mean, what I did with one bride, just as an experiment, I mean, it's interesting because you realise people are booking you for a certain style. Because the one, I sent her the new version, and she was like, no, I don't want that. I don't like that. Which was like, I could have at that moment gone, maybe I shouldn't do this. But I then made her, I'd already made her another one like ready, because I thought that might be the case. Because I knew her group of friends, they'd had a different type of film. But yeah, I think the thing is, what you have to realise is couples aren't necessarily following you for ages. Like they come across your website, they don't know what you were doing before. So the new people that found my website never knew about any of that stuff, and it was fine. But yeah, there probably was a period, if I look back on my Vimeo all that way back, there'll be like one film's like this, one film's like that, and they're just, very different. But I just wanted to respect the fact that couple had booked me a year ago and they went for that. So yeah, it's just in my head, I just had to go, right, this is a wedding I'm doing like this way, and this is a wedding I'm doing that way.
Yeah.
And then I phased that out over like a year or so.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Was there a distinct difference between the way that you filmed before to how you filmed now, or is it all done in the edit?
I think the big difference was, again, this is probably something a lot of people have done, is I had just way too much gear before. I had sliders and cranes and gimbals and I don't know, I can't even remember now, like one of the first Osmo-y things. I just had loads of stuff, and when I moved to London, I thought I'm just going to be getting on the train to a wedding. I just wanted to ditch all that. I mean, there was no way I was going to be taking like a crane thing into like a London wedding. So that changed, and to be honest, that was such a like breath of fresh air, because I remember just spending ages setting up this like. I used to always want to get this shot was like behind a wall, and I'd come up and you'd reveal the venue. You know, it was all the rage in like about 2012.
It's very that the only way is Essex, yeah.
Yeah, like I look at that stuff now, I think, oh man, it looks. I mean, I'm sure those couples didn't think anything of it. It was just in my mind, I was like, that looks so dated now. But mainly, it was like a practical thing. I thought, I can't be taking all this gear. It's mad. I remember I had my first ever second shooter was a guy who just started out, and he like took a photo of all my gear on the ground to show his friend because he just thought it was insane. And I remember at that moment going, yeah, actually, maybe maybe I'm doing it with the gear, and pretty much just got rid of most of it. So that was the change in the. So there was probably a lot more movement in films. I felt like everything had to be like sliding or moving or craning or there. So that changed, but it was more the editing. It was more like the color grade and the music and what I chose to use in the film and all that sort of.
I mean, I am guilty of having like a lot of gear. However, recently, you know, I've kind of just been sticking to maybe like my 2 or 3. Like I've not even really touched the gimbal at all since getting the Lumix, the S1 II and the S1R2, and the stabilization being that good on them that I don't even need the gimbal. Honestly, couldn't tell you the last time I used it.
Yeah, I mean, I shot a London wedding. Was it last weekend? And I was kind of thinking. I mean, I don't tend to use a lot of gear anyway, but I did think that okay, I'm gonna. To be fair, it was actually before like properly looking into your stuff, but I wanted the city to speak for itself. So I wanted a lot of stillness and let the movement happen around the frame, whereas my stuff is usually all very heavy on the movement. I had a tiny little this tripods we're actually using for this podcast just now, and the camera, and I stayed still for quite a lot of it. And it was just quite nice just running around with this little tripod and the camera all day. It was it was a nice little refreshing change for me. Yeah. But
I mean, I think it's whatever works for people. I just found that I just was wasting too much time setting stuff up. I think if you're like the gimbal guy and all your shots are like that, you're probably really quick at setting it up and it's all fine. But for me, I just found I was sort of faffing around with stuff on the ground thinking I'm just wasting time here. Like I could be. And I'm really bad with all that like balancing things. I don't have the patience for it. So as soon as they brought out a drone that you could literally like just switch it on and it goes, I got into the drone. But when it was like a hassle and you were having to sort of fiddle with the gimbal, it just wasn't for me. Really. And like you say, stabilization's got so good. So like, and the stabilization you can do on the computer. So I do a fair amount in my editing software, you know, like stabilizing shot. Just means, you can get away with just holding it and it's fine.
And then like there's, I think personally, because I used to use the gimbal quite a lot, but I felt like I would always like miss things just by using the gimbal. Like I wasn't quick enough. Right. You know, just to be able to quickly, you know, move over. I know you can obviously use a sport mode or whatever and stuff, but I still felt I wasn't like quick enough, and I felt my films improved significantly when I just switched over to handheld. And I would maybe use the gimbal for like certain shots, maybe like, you know, walking through the venue or something. I just felt like I was just able to get better shots and quicker, and I wasn't missing the moments that I was before, you know.
I think I watched photographers and realised like something would happen. We would do like a couple shot. Something would happen over there with, you know, a couple of guests, and they could just swing around and get it. And I just realised, you know, I want to be able to do that. I just want to be able to like grab that moment instantly. And you can't do that if you're in the middle of getting some sort of planned out shot, you know. So I'm way more just got my camera on a strap and just walking around like a photographer now. But so like I say, that's just my stuff. I
guess that's maybe like a little bit of a nice segue into just kind of like talking about just some of the gear that you use. So is your gear setup quite minimalist now?
Yeah, I guess I have 3 cameras, 2 A7S III and A7 IV, but 2 of them only come out for like the ceremony and speeches. So most of the day I'm on an A7S III. I shoot nearly the whole day on a little 40mm Voigtlander lens. I just really like. It's like a manual focus lens, but it's just I like the focal length 40mm because I often put, you know, I'll be doing like the 235 sort of crop. So I like the fact it's a little wider than like a 50. It opens really wide, so it's good all day. Like I've got a little mist filter on it. I pretty much shoot almost the whole day on that, but I do also have like some other lenses. I've got a wide lens for like a dramatic wide shot. I don't want to restrict myself, but I just find majority of the day it's nice and small. I can get quite close to like bride prep and that sort of thing, and it isn't some massive lens that just looks like scary and imposing to people. And because I do quite a few like overseas ones, I'm just trying to keep the weight down. So I've just got 3 little travel tripods, pretty cheap, sort of very light travel tripods that just mean yeah, they're not taking up a load of weight in my bag. And also, I'm only using them for stabilization. I'm not panning or anything. So they don't need to have like a big tripod. They're like photography ones. I'm just not bothered. It's just something to plonk my camera on during the ceremony. So that's sort of it, other than like audio and stuff. Oh, and I have a drone. I have a Mini 3 Pro, which, yeah. But other than that, I think that's pretty much it, yeah. No other like gadgets, really.
Yeah, I love it when someone can just be one focal length all day. Like I'm still sort of obsessed with that 24 to 70 sort of option to be able to be flexible. But I'm waiting for that day where I can just go, you know what, one focal length, that's going to be me.
I mean, I've been using the Sigma 50 1.2 recently, and I've been really enjoying going like that again, because it's now the fastest lens I've ever had. Because before it was a 1.8 was my fastest lens, but like I'm enjoying shooting like with it. I've been on primes for a while, but I don't know, it's just a bit of a different look that I'm getting now, because obviously it's a little bit faster. But I would say now the majority of the day I kind of like shoot on that, and then I've got another 100mm on the hip, which is nice for just getting some nice kind of like tighter shots and stuff. But yeah, I'd love to be able to just rock up one camera, one lens, and but I just find sometimes I just want another option.
Yeah, and obviously that's a manual focus lens that you're using majority of the day. I take it.
Yeah, which is probably seems crazy when like the A7S III has obviously really good autofocus and stuff. But again, I just find I don't want it to like decide for me what's going on. You know, if I want to sort of focus between a bride and a groom or do something, I just like having the complete control over it, really. And that lens, because I shoot all the time, it's got a very nice sort of focus pull on it. It's not like, and you guys don't shoot Sony anyway, but I think the focus by wire Sony lenses, I really don't like the fact that you can't, they're not tactile. You can't feel, you can't actually feel that it's focusing in and out, whereas this lens is very much like, you can do really nice, precise little focus. So I would follow a bride down and I would just be like twisting it, and I don't really mind stuff going in and out of focus and things like that. I quite like setting a focal length and then I'll move in and out of focus sort of thing. Like, and I'll actually use that. Whereas if it's obviously autofocus, it's constantly trying to help you, and I just that's not really for me. But it's a bit of a learning curve. When I've had second shooters and I'm like, it's all manual. I'm not saying they've got to do that, but that's just how I'm shooting.
Yeah, because obviously you don't need to shoot wide open all day on it. What does the aperture open up to on that?
It opens up to 1.2, but I wouldn't be using that like in a ceremony or speeches or whatever. That would be crazy. But I do use it. So things like if the bride's putting a veil on or something, I like the fact that it all just comes in and out of focus. Though I will do it at 1.2 then, when it doesn't really matter, those moments. But yeah, for a ceremony, I'm playing it pretty safe with things like a ceremony. It'll be up to F4.
Yeah, and of course, because there's a few shots that you've got that are, people running around and having, I've seen, like, you can go from the still to manic, and I can imagine, crank it up, like, close it up a little bit there, and then just, because I used to have a Samyang 85 manual focus lens, and I absolutely loved it. And I, when I did shoot Sony, that was when, it had a great little focus pool on it as well, and I loved kind of dipping in and out of it. But that's when I used to always have a viewfinder up to my eye before discovering autofocus, and I'm like, I don't need that now. That's.
So what did you say you would put it to for a ceremony or speeches? 2.8.
For a ceremony, well, for the bride walking down the aisle, I might go up a bit to like 2.8 or even like f4 or whatever. But for the vows, once it's all settled and I can it's going to be more stable, I probably will go back down again to something a little bit more to get a little bit of nice blur on them. Once I know they're like standing in position, they're not moving, I might go down to like f2 or whatever. The 1.2 is really for doing some stuff you're actually trying to make it cinematic. I'll do something like I'll come up to the bride and groom and I'll just move away a little bit and they'll sort of go out of focus. Then I'm putting it at 1.2 because it doesn't really matter that they're not in focus at any point. The other thing I like with those Sonys, because you can crank up to like 12,800 on the, like that's the dual ISO thing. I just know I can do that and still be down at like f4 even indoors, like if it's quite dark or whatever. So yeah, it means I just never have to really think about a different lens. But then I do have another Voigtlander 65mm, which is nearly a macro. It's not quite a macro, but it's nearly a macro. And I basically just use that for some like really close-up stuff if I want to do something with like... I just had a bride who had a ring with an inscription and she really wanted that in there. And yeah, my 40mm can't get... It's probably like 30 centimetres away. So that I use that specifically for that one job. And I also have I bought the 16-35 Sony that has like a zoom power zoom in it, because I just quite like this thing that you can actually like zoom in while you're filming with it. So you can go from 16-35, you just push a little rocker on the side and it does a nice push it. So I've got a couple of other lenses for like a particular thing.
Did you use
the
that
40
lens
mil
for
is
that?
basically all it, so.
Did you use that lens for that shot where the table has a Polaroid picture on it? And there's a video.
No, that was
just digital zoom.
No, that was just digital. That was
Yeah, it was cool, that.
yeah, partly because it was so dark there, and that lens is only f4. I had to do that. I literally moved 3 times and used 3 different like digital pushes in.
Cool.
Basically.
Yeah,
I just had a bit of time. I wouldn't normally do stuff like that, but that wedding, it was like that wasn't the wedding day. It was a different day, and we just had like an hour to kill. The photographer had some spare Polaroids lying around, and I just thought,
oh, nice.
I'll just go and try something.
Yeah, no, that was really cool. I loved that. It was a nice way to intro a film, because you had Sicily and coming out. It was great.
Yeah. If you haven't,
and I knew
seen
their
that,
film was going to be a bit like fast paced, and I wanted to be able to have a moment in it that was like slower. So that's what I was trying to do with that.
If you haven't seen it already, go and check it. Toby's Instagram. It's it's a class shot.
Binge-worthy. Absolutely binge-worthy.
Yeah.
Have you seen Lumix have just announced another new camera, the S12?
Well, you know I have.
This camera is chock full of features that wedding videographers like you are going to love, including 5.1K open gate at 50 frames a second for the first time.
Incredible slow-mo footage at 100 frames a second in 4K.
Best in class image stabilization.
And also a new and improved hybrid phase detect autofocus.
You can get your hands on this camera by loaning it for up to 48 hours. Just visit the Lumix store.
And if you do decide that this is the camera for you, remember to use code TWVP at the Lumix store for 10% off. That's right, 10% off this brand new camera that we believe is the perfect camera for wedding filmmakers. One thing that we noticed whilst watching your films and your work on like Instagram is like your couple shoot stuff is like really, really strong. Like really, really strong.
Okay.
Which we wanted to chat to you about, just in terms of like how are you, what are you doing to get such good couple shoot shots? Because I mean, Jason and I were watching it last night and we're like, damn, like that's so good.
I guess the most important thing is probably the couple being like up for that sort of thing. So a lot of the ones that I probably show are the ones where people are sort of into doing something a bit interesting. Not every couple's like that, and I don't push it. Like if someone just wants you to be in the background, that's fine, I don't do it. But normally with that, it's throughout the day, I'll just try and grab a moment of doing something with them. I wouldn't try and do it all in one go, and they just start to feel a bit like bored, especially with video when everything takes a bit longer.
Sure.
I wouldn't want to spend like their whole couple shoot doing lots of very long sort of shots. So generally, I just did one during the cocktail hour. I just saw there was some really nice light in this room and there was a chair, and I just grabbed them for a second and just said, why don't you both just sit down and just give me a little bit of a dramatic pose. And it's not hard, like I'm not trying to get people to do anything too elaborate. It's just like be serious for a second or something.
Yeah.
And then I would just do all the work. They're literally just having to stand there normally. I'm not getting them to do anything crazy. But I play it by ear with the couple. Like if I think they don't want to be interrupted or whatever, then I'll leave them. But generally, I think I probably get couples that are looking for like a bit of a movie experience afterwards. So I guess they want to do that stuff. Or the Sicily one you mentioned, like I literally just took them off and said, let's just walk up and down the street, because it was a cool street and it was just a random road by their drinks. But I could tell they weren't in the middle of anything important, and I could just grab them for 5 minutes. Then I might do that again later and again, maybe 2 or 3 times in the day.
Yeah.
But I'm not trying to squeeze all that into that 20 minutes of like couple shoot with the photographer.
Yeah, it's quite a good, I guess, way of doing it actually, isn't it? Rather than just trying to, because I know like sometimes certainly the weddings, you are trying to cram pretty much everything into that one couple shoot, but taking them taking them in little dribs and drabs throughout the day just for like a quick 5 minutes, that's quite a good way to do it, so that they don't get like video fatigue. as well. So
And also when you're working with the photographer as well, like there'll be certain things I might want to do that the photographer just, it wouldn't work
doesn't
for
work,
them. I did something at a wedding where I knew it would look cool in black and white, and I sat them in these chairs and there was like a lamp, but it was literally by the toilets in like a corridor. And on video, I just knew I could make that look good in black and white with this light and the couple. But the photographer was looking at me like, what's
why are they next to the toilet?
So I try and do those things like outside of the portrait shoot, because I know the photographer doesn't want to be. So, and again, literally, I'll just grab them for like, give me 2 minutes and we'll get it and we're done. And I'll vaguely explain what it is I'm thinking. I think, sometimes I was speaking to someone who was like just starting out video. It's easy to just hang around in the background and let the photographer do it. But to me, I think the couple actually quite like if you look like you're having some input and you're being creative and you've thought of a thing, that's not just alongside the photographer. So generally they like the fact you've come up with something and it's a video thing, not a photo thing. So.
I actually had that recently. I had like that kind of like that thinking look on my face, and like right, Danny. The buddy's like, right, Danny's thinking of something. What are you thinking about, Danny? What idea have you got? And I was like, well, let's try this.
Yeah, for me, like it's actually reassuring to know, when you see someone who's absolutely like smashing it on Instagram with the films they're making, that I think we do all get couples that aren't as up for everything as as your dream couples, and I think that's really important to notice, because I know myself that I get way more ideas when I've really got a good thing going with a couple on the day. Sometimes they can give you a bit of not necessarily bad energy, but like energy that they don't really feel like they want to be there at that point. They want to get back to the party, or they get back. So I have way more creativity pouring through me when they are having a good time with me.
I think that relationship between you and the couple's paramount.
Yeah. And obviously there's so much you can do with that, but it also plays into the fact of if the photographer is pounding them for pictures, and you're like, we're done here.
Get a rest.
Give her a rest, But some days I have better than others, and on those days when I feel like, okay, I've really not managed to do anything here, it is about taking those times out with that specified couple shoot to go, hey, this is pretty cool here. Why don't we sit down here and have a little look? And it's always looking at what your venue has for you to produce something that looks quite nice. So always be on the lookout for that. I think that's really good.
Wait, see for instance, like for these kind of like creative shots and stuff like that you're thinking, where do you get that inspiration from?
Yeah, it's a tough one. I guess partly from just doing this for such a long time, so I've probably just like come up with a range of things over the years. I think movies is my main thing. Like, watch a lot of films, and if I just see something that looks cool, like some light looks good or whatever, I'll try and store that in my head for like thinking that'll be a nice moment. But I probably do have like certain set things in my head. It's normally about light and things like that, and like most of us, I'll just glance in a room and think that would look so cool if they were sitting there, and if I think they're up for it, I'll go for it. But also on the day, I'm always just, I guess on a wedding day, you're sort of a little bit wired and the adrenaline's going, you're a bit stressed. I just find I come up with stuff because I just want to make sure I've given them something interesting. It's probably not the sort of thing I could think of if I was just sitting down at home,
Yeah.
But when I'm there, I'm always looking out for like. So I had an idea at a wedding I just did where everyone was jumping around. I was doing some slow shutter stuff, and I saw the couple was standing on the dance floor for a minute chatting, and I just saw that it would look really cool if they were just like standing still and everyone was dancing around them. So I just grabbed them for a second and literally went, just stand there, everyone jump around you. But it was just something I thought of because I was looking at my camera and I thought that would look cool. But I guess my mind's always at a wedding. I'm trying not to just worry about the practical bits, like I need to make sure that goes mic'd up or whatever. I'm trying to more think I need to get. Every wedding I want to get at least 2 or 3 what you call like a sort of hero shot, just something really cool that you can end their film with and they go, you just want to end with a bang. So I'm always trying to come up with a shot at least on a wedding that'll work. Inspiration, it's hard to say. I think it's just one of those things where it's just on my mind all day. Even if it's during prep, I might just think during prep. So this couple, I just did a wedding and they had a little breakfast in the morning. and there was a nice window and I got them to sit in it, and I thought, well, I've got that nice shot now. It doesn't have to be from like the couple shoot or whatever. It's just, get that one killer moment in a day. I think I got that from photographers where I noticed like they'd share one image from a wedding, and it could be a pretty average wedding, but because they've got that one shot, they can show that and it looks stunning. I was trying to think that from a video point of view, like it might be a fairly normal wedding and there's nothing really like new that I can share, but if I just get that one moment, I've got something to put on my Instagram.
I also found
something for the couple, you know.
I also found that, you know, your couple stuff is strong, but your films are full of moments that don't have anything to do with the couple, whether it be the venue, the location, you know, people mingling. It seems that you're really busy when you're not with the couple, and I love that. So what does that...
No, that's probably true.
Yeah, what does that sort of look like for you on a day? Obviously, you'll spend a bit of time in the prep, but how much time are you allocating to not being anywhere near the couple and just looking around for content?
I pretty much... I mean, maybe everyone's like this, but I pretty much don't stop all day. So I know some people, they might be like downtime at a wedding, but I sort of give myself a very short break when I might eat something for like 20 minutes during the meal. But I really just try and be on it all day, because I don't do tons of weddings, and so each one of them I feel like they've got me for whatever 10-12 hours. I'm just going to give them like that whole time, and I'm going to get as much as I can. So I sort of don't really stop, I guess, on the wedding day. So when the couple are off doing something else or getting changed, I don't see that as like a moment to have a break. I'll just go out and get stuff of family and couples. And the other thing, like I say, with my setup, I've just got my camera. It's on all day. It's ready to go. Like, I'm never putting it down. So any moment that just happens in front of me, I can just grab it, a bit like a photographer. And because I have I don't want my films to turn into looking like a photo shoot. So though those couple moments are nice, I'm very aware of not wanting it to look like this could just be a styled shoot, you know? So I really always make sure there's all those like real moments in there, but I just try and shoot them in the same way as I've shot the couple stuff if I can. So like dad and bride having a hug, I won't play that safe. I'll try and get it in a bit of a creative way. I might go in out of focus. I might mess it up a little bit, but I want it to look like it matches the couples. What I don't like is like some of your film looks all artistic, and then other bits just look like a multicam. You know, I'm always trying to make sure. Yeah, same thing with the ceremony. I'll set up a multicam, but I will normally have like another camera that I'm just going around getting slightly more creative stuff. And that's probably the only bit that will make it into my like teasers, because I want the whole film to look like I was planning every shot if I can, you know?
Yeah.
No, that's good advice.
It's fascinating that. I think I think everyone's game could be stronger when it comes to like capturing like the location to help tell that story. And there's just I think there was a few shots from some of the films I saw of yours where I think you were on top of this balcony inside, and you'd panned from left to right to just show a staircase, and I'm like, yeah, it's a staircase, but it mattered. It mattered so much at that in that little section of the film. I just thought it was so good, and that's when I noticed that you're really strong when you're not during the moments that people might not be. So that's good. Another thing that I kind of we wanted to talk about with you was obviously you work with a team on the day. Is that always the case? Are you always shooting with a team, or
No, I basically decided when I started getting bigger weddings and multi-day weddings, I just realised when you're replying to those inquiries, you want to be able to just say immediately, like, yeah, I can make that happen, sort of thing. So I just, over time, have got like a few people together that I can rely on, really, to shoot for me. So I've got a guy who comes with me to most of my weddings who also has another job, and he's just like, it's more like a bit fun for him. So if we're getting to go to a fun place, he's just like, he's up for it, sort of thing. Yeah. Then I've got someone who's a videographer and photographer called Isla, and she's really good. And I've had the odd wedding where people want photo as well, and we've done the whole thing. It doesn't happen often, but I just wanted that option there. If people say, we'd prefer it was like one team doing everything, I just want to be able to go, well, I can do that, you know. So She's at, and then there's a guy up in Scotland actually, a drone guy who I met at a wedding in Scotland, and all he does is drone, and he's a commercial drone guy. But if they want like proper drone all day or like over multiple days, and I don't want to be doing that, he's happy to come and do it. And I just found that having that group there just meant it can expand and shrink how it needs to. So I just did a wedding in Ireland, and that was just me. And I threw the drone up a little bit here and there when I could, like most people do. But then I did one in Sicily recently, and it was like 3 days, and there was like 4 of us then, and it was like
wow.
I'm not wanting it to look like it's this big team, and I'm really aware of not turning it into like it's this big production. It's more people have a little role and they're off doing it. So the couple never saw the drone guy, Michael. He's just away getting those shots from somewhere, you know, they're not really aware of it. And my second shooter might be off with like the groom, but I'm very conscious of really they're only really seeing me on the day in their face, you know. Mm-hmm. But it's just having those people there to help with those other bits. So yeah, it's expandable. It's one of those things where I just want to be able to say to people, I have a few different packages, and one's like just me, one's a couple of people, and then I've just got like a full-on everything you want. I even added a content creator one to like my biggest package, even though I don't have a content creator at the moment. But I just want to have it there, and if people want it, I'll work it out. But I just want people to think they can get the whole package from you. I think couples really like when you can just say, yeah, I can provide you everything, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. So when it comes to your second shooter, to keep the consistency of your style going, are they also shooting with like the 40mm lens that you've got, or have you given them a different assignment?
Similar, like not necessarily the same lens, but everyone shoots with like the mist filters that I use. My main shooter's got like a 55 Sony, but it's similar enough for me. He shoots in the same way, but he's shooting on the same camera, so they shoot on my A7S3s if they don't have one, because I want that consistency. And yeah, I've used the same people now for maybe like 4 or 5 years, so everyone's learnt the sort of style I want them to go for, you know? The odd wedding where I've used someone else, it's fine, it's that thing, it's hard to explain to someone exactly how you want them to do it. Like, I don't want to be too like controlling and say you've got to do exactly like this, but it's just difficult if someone hasn't quite matched the way you'd shoot, say, groom prep with the bride prep, and it just doesn't quite match. So I'm a little bit funny with that. So yeah, I think what's worked is just having people that have worked for me that they don't really have their own thing, like video-wise. So their style has just become your style, really.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, and the mist filters is the main thing, just because I really don't like the digital look of Sony cameras, and I really notice it if like the other person's footage just looks, like I want it softer and all that. So
any specific brand that you recommend when it comes to mist filters?
What do I use? I can look at this camera here. I've forgotten. Oh yeah, it's the Tiffin Black Pro Mist is what I use.
Is that the quarter or the eighth? 1/8?
No, it's the 8th. I have a quarter one, which I played with like.
I just find it too
if you're
strong.
really trying to do something, but I don't actually like it. I've used it so, like maybe on a dance floor if you think actually it could look cool if it's a little bit over stylized, but I would never use that. All day I've got the 1/8 on basically, which is just enough to take the edge off, and I think brides prefer it. It sort of takes the 4K digital sort of skin away a little bit. And I guess for me, maybe it's just more my sort of style, but I quite like all the lens flares and the slight imperfection and stuff. I don't mind any of that. Like, I don't mind if I'm shooting someone in a window and you get some weird flaring, because it just adds a bit of texture. Like, I think it's quite cool. But if you don't like that stuff, mist filters can be annoying, because they do cause a little bit of flare on the lens sometimes.
Yeah, because I've got that.
I just sort of embrace it.
It's a quarter stop. It's a quarter I've got for the mist, but I kind of stopped using it because I was like, it's just too strong.
No, quarter is too much. I think it's. I tried it and it just looks. It looks like you've done something weird afterwards and sort of blurred it in a way that's. Yeah. I didn't like it. I've got one that sits in a bag basically.
Yeah, I need to get rid of them. I was going to say Steve would probably buy them, but probably not.
See, I've never used mist filters, but I've seen a bunch of stuff online about them.
I shot a full wedding with like all the cameras with it, and I liked it to some extent, but then I don't know it. I think because it was the quarter, it like, because you get that kind of dreamy-ish kind of look from it, and
it's too dreamy looking.
It's too dreamy. Like it felt like the whole thing was a dream. Do you know what I mean? Like,
No, it makes your whole film look like a weird old Hollywood thing. Like you've put some Vaseline on your lens or something. Yeah, that's too much. I find the 1/8, it just takes the edge off
the highlights
of the digital, and it does give you some nice bloom, like on the dance floor.
Yeah.
All those lights that can just be quite harsh suddenly become a little hazy. I just like that. But yeah, it's definitely a look, and you're burning it in. So if it's one of those things where I think you can sort of do it digitally. I'm sure someone's sells software now where you can basically make it look like there was a mist filter on.
Yeah.
But I just know I've even got a mist on my drone, so I just do not like the digital thing. It's just my thing. I've got a little mist on my DJI Mini to take off that edge on the. And all of my sharpness is turned down to like minus whatever it can be. You know, sharp is just not my thing. But that's a look. You know, that wouldn't work if you were doing like, I don't know, a style that wanted to look a little bit more.
Yeah.
Like if you're embracing the 4K thing and you want to say to people your film's going to be this like sharp and high res looking thing, then you wouldn't want to use them. But I actually am trying to do the opposite. I'm trying to get rid of that a bit.
Yeah, I think nostalgia and softness it's in these days. So people kind of get away from that high definition.
It does look good.
Yeah.
And your music, I think you mentioned Musicbed, because I think you're also a friend of the brand, ambassador for
Yeah, I
Musicbed.
heard you guys saying that. It's welcome to the club.
Yeah.
It's a nice thing. Doing that playlist is like I want to change mine now. At the time, I spent ages thinking. I spent way too long thinking about that. Like, what was the point? But it's a weird thing where I just had certain songs I wanted to. I don't know. I just overthought it, and but it was a fun thing to do, putting that playlist together.
Yeah.
And seeing it pop up on the website, it's nice. But I was using Musicbed for a long time, so I guess they just noticed at some point. But I'd pretty much been Musicbed only for like 4 or 5 years before they spoke to me, you know.
Yeah, same. Yeah, it's
it's kind of all I've used.
Yeah,
for ages now.
I mean, I think when I started, it was Soundstripe that I used, and I quickly went through the songs in about 3 months, and I was like, well, that's all the songs I like.
Yeah.
So, but I was listening to Musicbed, like I downloaded the app, and I was listening to it in my car in when I was still working full time. And it's like, oh, that'd be a great song. This was kind of during COVID times as well, so I was like getting a bank of songs before when weddings would start up again. Yeah. And then when the wedding started, I was like, right, I'm just gonna buy it. I know it's like 90 quid a month, but I'm just gonna get it. It's gonna be good. Oh my god, that paid for itself. Just the creativity that it gave you, you know.
Massive.
Because music,
it definitely does.
Absolutely helps you like visualize what you can.
No, I was going to say, like, it seems expensive, but I don't know, like the amount you spend on a lens or whatever. To have every film just seem higher quality.
It's not
expensive. You know, music's such a big deal. Like couples, without realizing, just notice that your film. They don't know what it is, but it seems more movie-like, and the music is like a big part of that.
It's huge. I think it's such a massive contributing factor to that. But like, I think from the outside looking in, it seems expensive. Like, because I know my wife went. Because I obviously told her about, friend of the brand, and she was like, you're paying how much for music? And I was like, yeah, but it's a business expense, and it's like there is no alternative, because like it's just the best. It is the best. So So no.
And I was doing the thing of buying like one track at first. And then that was costing me like 40 quid a track. And I remember thinking, this is mad. Like I could just be. I wanted, and you're almost restricting yourself to only using 1 or 2 songs when actually you might want to use like 4 or 5 in a film. Or I like the fact sometimes I'll just get like a little bit of a track that I'll use on the end of a film, like 30 seconds of it, and I don't like the rest of it, but the fact we can just download as many as we like and just use that little moment
thank goodness.
And so far I've still, like you're saying about running out, I've been using them for so long now, and I still, well, I guess they're adding new ones all the time, but I've still never found, I'm struggling now to find a song I like. And I pretty much never use the same track twice for teaser films. Maybe in a longer film you would, but anything that's going up on like Instagram or whatever, I want every single one of them to be like their own unique thing. So I get through a lot of music.
Yeah. It's funny how you when you're, especially if you got different kind of vibes for your weddings, and I like to click on the different attributes to kind of get different songs. It's amazing. You find an absolute banger that you've never heard before. I mean, my favorite list is probably about 40 pages long. Like, so it's
you've got a big list.
I've got a big list of songs, but
mine's half that.
yeah, I do wish they would let you filter your favorites. That's the one thing. Musicbed, if you're listening, let us filter our favorites. I know we can make individual playlists for vibes and stuff, but I just like favoriting my songs, and then I want to filter them. Like, so that would be really helpful.
In what way, like a custom filter?
So like how I can, how I can like search for songs and I can put in attributes, genres, things like that. I would also like to select favorite as an option. So then it only shows the songs that I favorited, but then also applies the filters that I've done.
It does that? You can do that in your favorites? You just search for like cinematic or pop or whatever?
Really?
Aye.
Damn. I've been needing that for years. You can do that.
Aye, just go to favorites and then type
Who's
in
the real
cinematic
friend?
or whatever.
Who's the real friend
I know.
of Musicbed?
I told you about the app. I told you about the app. That he didn't even know he had an app.
Yeah, I use the app.
So, but
I'm quite nerdy with the
Musicbed-
app. I'll listen to that like. Yeah, go.
Musicbed, if you are listening to this, sorry, please can you get a CarPlay app for Apple CarPlay so that I can just click
Oh,
onto
yeah,
it?
that'd be nice.
Because then, other than
Yeah.
I need to always start it before I set off driving, so I don't I don't use my phone when I'm driving. Get a CarPlay app, please. Thank you, friend.
There you go. Okay. Yeah, but as
Yeah,
you
you
say,
can do
like-
that. It's class.
Okay, that's good. That's good. That's gonna be great for me.
I'd quite like to put in custom tags though, to the because you know how like sometimes I guess you can download it and stuff like that, but like I don't always. But see like a wee custom tag to go like it's like a morning prep one or like a high pace
Well, that's
eh,
playlists.
I know, yeah, I guess.
That's playlists.
I
Yeah,
just don't
but
like having loads of playlists.
yeah, like Toby was saying that obviously you listen to the app all the time, right?
Oh yeah, I mean I'm a bit of a geek for that. I just find I just have it on in my headphones if I'm doing something, and like you say, I can just be favoriting them, and then when I go back onto it on my computer, what I often do is I try and have, if I think this song could fit a wedding in a certain like country or type of wedding, I will sort of put them into little playlists for like Italy or whatever. So I do that a little bit, but yeah, you're right about the. They could probably be a bit more granular with some of the search stuff. But the app to me is what sold it to me, because I could just, I'd even have it on in the gym or whatever, and I could just be going, bang.
Yeah.
That'll work on that. Just because when people say like, oh, I spent a whole day trying to find a song for this wedding, I feel like it's the one thing you can be doing when you're driving or whatever. You're not having to sit at your laptop and choose a song. So I feel like if you do that, you've already burnt out like your creativity for the day if you've sat listening to like 100 songs for a film. So and if you've got a sort of a style to your work, you can find the songs that you think this is definitely going to fit one of my films at some point. They're not all that. I'm never going into the, I don't know, EDM section or whatever. There's certain genres I might not be using, but
Yeah, I think when you were talking earlier about your hero shots, you always pair the music, like the crescendo to a song, or like what it's building to that hero shot, and that's where that's where the spark of inspiration comes for me, when I know a song is going to work for me. If I'm like, that's that moment there would pair perfect when this confetti blew up all over the dance floor and people were jumping like that's how it works. So explore this song, and maybe you can't use all the song, but there's parts of the song that you can use. I can cut that up into 45 seconds. That's going to really be good. So yeah, I love listening to it when I'm driving, especially after a wedding. When I've just finished it, I'm decompressed, I'll put the app on and just put in what I was feeling from the day, and hopefully something just hits.
No, that's a good idea.
Yeah. Big shout out to Musicbed.
And I really mess with them. So I mean, I think you just said, but I chop them around a lot, like the songs. So I might hear a song and think parts of this work I will be like moving that bit to there and moving that bit to, because it's not always going to match exactly like your edit. So I spend quite a bit of time shrinking them down.
The amount of good songs that are on there as well that are like breakup songs. That's
true. That's true.
I had one recently. And
you think this would be perfect if this?
Yeah, if he wasn't just talking about how this is the end of the road, and we've came along a long way, but we need to go our separate ways, and you're just like, but just get rid of that. Can you maybe? I think the artists need to start doing like, let's do a breakup version and a happy version. But yeah,
as soon as it's like in a real minor key, I think, I love this. I love everything about this, but the couple are definitely going to think, why is this like a funeral? I've tried it a few times and I've done it and I thought this looks so cool, but there's no way
Yeah.
I can send this to them. Like, this is
Yeah.
the happiest day of their life. What are you doing? But it looked good. But yeah.
Yes.
Well, we'll have a little bit more from Toby after this short break.
Still delivering your wedding films by USB?
Ew.
We use VidFlow, the sleekest platform for delivering your wedding films. It makes your couples feel like they've got their own private Netflix.
Plus, with their white labeling service, you can customize everything from the branding to the custom domain, so you can make it super personal.
Want to wow your clients? Use the code TWVP10 to get 10% off all pro plans, including white labeling service.
Head on over to vidflow.co today and level up your wedding film delivery experience.
Let's talk about backlog.
Woo!
Editing piles up fast and is overwhelming.
That's why we use brideandgroom.video, a wedding editing company that delivers stunning wedding films faster without compromising on quality.
If you're looking for an editor that's going to match your unique style so it feels like you've made them, you found them.
Use code TWVP75 at checkout to get £75 off your first order and try out their service.
Clear your backlog and grow your business. Try brideandgroom.video today.
Hasta la vista, backlog. So we noticed as well on your website that you have a bit of a tagline on there, which is I think it's in like the Meet the Team About section, and there's you, and then it says you also shot one of the most watched wedding film. I believe, is it of all time?
Of all time.
Of all time.
41 million views.
I think so.
We'll run with
mean,
it. We'll run with it.
I mean,
That's
it's up,
Yeah,
it's up there,
yeah.
right? It's got to be up there.
It's definitely up there. It's definitely a lot of time. So
So yeah, so wanted to chat to you about that. So
Watched
for
a lot.
people that don't know, you actually shot. He's very famous YouTuber. Was the I think the most famous YouTuber for quite some time. I'm not sure if he has any more because I don't know if he does it as much anymore. But it was PewDiePie, his wedding. So I guess first of all, how was that inquiry through a planner, or did he come direct to you, or?
no, that was it was just a random one. It was they didn't have a planner. It was quite a low key wedding in a way. Like it was, they didn't have. I think she had seen something I'd done on a blog or something.
Oh,
It was quite a random thing. And I guess it was a London wedding, and I was London based then, so maybe they'd been looking up London videographers. I don't know.
enough.
But we had a chat, and it just went well because he's Swedish, and my sister lives in Sweden, and I knew the town where he's from, and
Okay.
she was Italian, and I think I'd just done a destination wedding. I just shared. I think it just happened to just all match up, you know. It was
So
just
you'd
a
be
nice
like,
little.
"She's
But
Italian,
yeah,
and
it
I
was
just
just
had a
pretty
pizza."
random, and I didn't know who they were. Maybe it also helped because I was just like normal on the call because
Oh, you didn't know who he
I
was?
wasn't like No, I didn't know who he was when they called me. No.
No.
Then I messaged someone else. I think it was Aaron Kenny actually. I messaged him and I was like, "Oh, you heard of this guy?" And he went, "What? The Godfather of YouTube?" Or something like that. And I went, "Oh, right, okay." It's a big deal then.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it was to me it was like a normal wedding. Charged them a normal amount. It was all just yeah. Then when he shared, I mean, I didn't know they were going to share it for sure. You know, I wasn't like pushing that. So when he shared it, I just said, "Could you maybe tag me in the like the post when you put it on YouTube?" And he did, and obviously that was good for me.
Yeah.
Because it was watched a lot. And then it was this surreal thing of things I didn't know about on YouTube, like people reacting to it. So all these videos were going up of people playing the film with like them in a split screen, reacting to like getting all emotional, and it was very odd. I watched
Director's cut.
one or two of them, and then I thought I don't want to look at that. I don't look at any of that anymore, which is weird to me.
Yeah.
Because yeah.
Did you get a lot?
But
of,
yeah, it was a surreal little.
Did you
moment.
get a lot of business
Sorry.
like off the back of that then?
I sort of did, except that wedding was just before COVID, so couldn't have been timed a bit worse because I got a ton of inquiries and I even booked a load of weddings all over the place, like across the world sort of thing. But a lot of them didn't end up happening because of COVID. Because then there was almost like a 2-year gap where that sort of burnt off a little bit. So it probably did help a bit. I definitely think it helped with couples who followed him, but at the same time, they weren't mainstream in the way that like planners were noticing it. I don't think. I don't think it's like one. It wasn't a wedding like, I don't know if you did, like a celebrity wedding, or a royal wedding or something. That sort of thing where maybe planners would be jumping. It wasn't like that, but I definitely got a bunch of weddings that I could tell the couples are followers of him, because I suddenly did quite a few weddings of people that were like gamers and stuff, and I didn't know anything about this stuff. You know, they'd have these like, and I did this other YouTuber, a UK YouTuber guy who was like a big Fortnite. So I could guess where these weddings were coming from at that point. So I suddenly had to like research some of those things a bit, because it wasn't my world at all. I was like, I don't know what you're talking about.
Buy yourself a
but
PlayStation.
Yeah, but really, it was just a very nice one. Yeah.
Sorry, it's.
But yeah, it was definitely
saying to the missus. Sorry, it's research. I'm locked in Call of Duty.
Yeah, I've just got to play Fortnite for the next 3 hours. But the weird thing with that was just weird timing, because my son was just about to be born, and like the day that he posted it, I was like in a hospital, and I was just seeing it. It was just mad, like just seeing the follows go up and all this sort of thing. My YouTube following went up quite a bit. My Instagram did in a moment. So it was definitely like a weird couple of days. But I also wasn't really in the mind space, because I was like
fair enough
thinking about like having a child. So it was like a weird mixture. But yeah, I think for a little while it was cool, and it definitely got me.
What was he like?
Like I did. What was he? He was very normal guy. He was like you wouldn't have known anything. Like I remember he turned up to do the groom prep, and he was just sort of like hanging out in the corner, didn't want to interrupt me and the photographer chatting and stuff. It's just they were very nice. I think what was nice with that, and maybe why they booked me, is it wasn't this big like crazy wedding where you need 10 people to shoot it or whatever. It was quite intimate. Yeah. Though they got married in the big like temperate house in Kew Gardens, it was stunning. It wasn't. It was a small wedding. Like the actual ceremony was only like 10 people or something.
Right, wow.
I think they wanted to keep it low key. They didn't want someone to turn up that was going to turn it into like a big production.
Sure.
It was very low key affair. So yeah, it was nice. I think the best thing it got me is I did a wedding in Bali, which was off the back of that.
Wow.
And we made a holiday of it. And I remember thinking, this is purely because of that, and that was very nice. Like, wanted to thank him for that, because it got me a trip to like a cool country.
Yeah.
But,
I think it's quite our wedding films, although they're not designed to be seen by the mass public, we're not getting premieres at like Leicester Square and things like that, but you put a lot of time and effort into these films, and even when you get to watch your couples watch it back, if they send a video to you or anything like that, it's great to see your work appreciated, but to be on a scale of 40 plus million people have watched something that you've created, I just think it could be very humbling, I suppose, and everyone gets a chance to kind of look into the work that you do, and it obviously introduces a lot of people to you as well. It must be pretty rewarding, that.
No, it was definitely rewarding, and like you say, also slightly like nerve-wracking, because it started to get like posted. I saw people putting it in like Facebook groups, like in America, saying, "Oh, let's all deconstruct this film," or something. I remember thinking,
please don't.
I don't know if I'm up for that level of like scrutiny, because when I was making it, I didn't know that was going to happen. So I was just shooting it on my normal cameras and didn't take any special gear. It was just me and my second shooter. I don't know. It's like, so it was odd to be, because it was just a normal wedding in my mind, really, which maybe helped, because I didn't overthink it.
Yeah, I was going to say, but it probably helped that you didn't know who they were, and you didn't realise like the gravity of the situation, I guess, that you were in.
I think that's true.
And that what could come from it.
Because otherwise you might have changed up your whole style, or I don't know, brought in more people. But I just didn't, luckily. So,
and that's probably
I definitely saw some people going, how come they didn't book this guy or this guy, like some big American name? But I think probably it was because they weren't wanting to turn it into a big spectacle. I think that's what it was. He shared it, but some people you get. That's when you get the thing of like when people go, oh, I did get a run of people thinking I was going to shoot their wedding for like nothing, because it's for all this like exposure. Because suddenly you get those sort of people that are like in a big world, but they never once questioned anything. They paid me, but also they just paid me my normal amount. And also, once you've done a wedding like that, it's like you realise how much that exposure is necessarily going to help you. Because even though it's had tons of views and it got me some work, it's not like it's changed your entire life. So if someone comes along to me now saying, I've got 20,000 followers on Instagram and can you do it for free? I just think, well, no. Because, I mean, it's not going to, it probably wouldn't get you anything. And also I would never do that. So like, even with him, it was like, you pay me. And they never once tried any of that stuff. So I feel like those sort of weddings, is then all a bit performative, and it's being turned into like a
Yeah.
thing for a magazine or whatever. You know, I don't want to do that sort of wedding. So.
I guess it maybe like from his point of view as well, being in I guess like the public eye and being on YouTube and everything, maybe being a bit of a production is possibly also the reason why they maybe wanted it low key, so that it was more something for them as well, rather than, you know, just feeding the machine.
It must be strange, because I mean, we couldn't tell anyone where the wedding was going to be because Kew Gardens is like open to the public, so they were really paranoid, like all these people were going to turn up. And there was a guy on YouTube at the time trying to work out where he lived, and
Oh wow.
I got people messaging me stuff. I got random people from like Japan messaging me, asking me how tall he was and all this sort of thing. So I can't imagine being one of those people, but I just ignored all of that. But I saw a guy trying to work out where he lived, and they got it completely wrong, because I obviously knew their address.
Yeah.
So that was very weird. I can't imagine being under that level of scrutiny. But yeah, on the day, they couldn't be more normal. Like, you wouldn't have known it was anything.
To be fair,
really.
he wasn't
a
someone,
nice Swedish family and all.
Yeah, he wasn't someone that I followed. I obviously know the name.
No.
But to be fair, it was I couldn't remember what he actually looked like. But when I saw it was 41 million views, and I was like, it was you that said, "Oh, I think he shot PewDiePie's wedding." And I'm like, okay. And I Googled PewDiePie, and that's when I saw his name was Felix. I'm like, oh, this is Felix here, right? Oh, okay, that's what it is. So I wouldn't have known who they were.
Oh yeah. No.
Yeah, it did look like really quite an intimate day. Which I think is quite common, because I've seen Ali Abdal's wedding video as well. Who's quite actually, was that at the same venue? I think it was the same day. Yeah, and he's a famous organizational YouTuber, and his was quite intimate as well. So it's I think it's it's fairly common for that. But no, it's just it's a nice experience. I think on the flip side, seeing the numbers come in and go, wow, that's. I mean, to be able to say that, I think very safely, within argument, of one of the most watched wedding films of all time, which is a pretty cool achievement. So,
we'll say it's the top.
I'll keep that on my website as long as I can. There was a couple of mad moments. I had friends when it came out. One was, it was the most. I forget these stats now. Oh yeah, it outdid like the new Star Wars trailer on the day that he posted my wedding. Like, there was a new Star Wars trailer, and I got more views than him. And the other one is it made it into like the YouTube end of year. They do that big like an end of year like YouTube roundoff, and there's a clip from my film in that. They were the two cool bits for me. And I was like, oh, that's quite mad.
That's very cool. That is very cool.
No, it was fun. It was definitely a positive. It was a positive experience, obviously, but also just unexpected. It was just a bit mad. I just wasn't like, I couldn't believe those views that they were going up like 1 million a day. I just thought, what? How is, you know?
Yeah, why can't I post it on
first,
my account?
when you have those viral, I guess everyone's looking for those viral moments.
Collab.
So like,
collab.
Yeah,
imagine.
exactly.
Yeah, Toby, it's been awesome chatting to you today, mate. Thank you so much. Like, loads of good bits in there for our listeners, and just that interesting segment about shooting PewDiePie's wedding. I think because I remember watching that when it first came out, but I wasn't like a big follower of PewDiePie at the time, but I would jump in and out of the videos, and I wasn't doing videography. Because when was that wedding?
2019.
Yeah, so I was researching at the time. Like, I hadn't shot any. I remember watching it and be like, oh man, that's so good. I was like, maybe I'll be able to make something like that one day.
Maybe you'll
5 years later, I'm still nowhere near. But no, cracking job, and more than worthy of the recognition that it received. So, and if you haven't watched it, guys, go and have a look. You'll be able to find it on YouTube, and just add to the tally so that we can keep his 40 million.
I need it to get to 42.
Yeah.
Like, it's slowed down a bit.
Come on, Trips, we can do it. One question though that we do like to ask all of our guests on the pod, and I think it's really apt, considering I guess what we've just talked about, just to make humanise people a little bit more, for people that are like at the top of their game. But what would you be able to tell us about a time when you've maybe like ballsed up at a wedding, or you've kind of made a mistake and it's
Yeah. Let me
This is
think.
where you go, no, I can't think
And
of
let me think
anything."
which one. No, there's definitely are some. Which is the
We've
best
definitely
one?
all got a bit of trauma.
I
in
think
a way.
the most stressful thing I've ever had, but I'm not going to say it's my fault because I don't think it was. But I was at a wedding in France and we were all sent off to eat, and then the groom decided to do his speech while we were away.
Oh my God.
And it was like quite a big wedding, and it was obviously a really good speech. And I got paranoid that something was happening, and I came upstairs to have a look, and he was pretty much rounding off. The bride was crying, and that feeling in your stomach there, by some absolute fluke, and this is something I've done forevermore since then, I left a TX strapped to the mic on one of the wireless mics, and that's the one he picked up. So I actually had the audio, but I didn't know that in that moment. I knew that like afterwards when I checked it, but I had no video of it. But just having the audio was good. But anyway, in that moment, it was just, I don't know, it's like a simple mistake. But the thing about weddings is there's all these things that are just so important, like to people. Like all these things are the most important thing in a way. And I just remember thinking this is going to be, and the way I dealt with it in the end is I just went and I was just straight with it. I said, we missed that, and it's bad, but I just think that was better than going home and then emailing them later saying I don't have that. Because I had that audio, I managed to like do something with it. But since then, what it's always made me do is I literally leave a TX on the wireless mic and I just leave it recording like for the whole meal. It will go for like 3 hours or something. But I just don't want to lose that. I realised having the audio was the most important thing. I think that's probably, it's not a funny mistake.
Sometimes it's not about funny.
It's definitely the time that stuck in my mind as absolutely like, I just remember back on that moment when I walked out and like the planner went, oh, aren't you supposed to be getting this? And I just went,
aren't you supposed to be telling us when this is happening?
Aren't you meant to be
really,
knowing that cameras aren't rolling? Like, don't shift.
Luckily the photographers missed it as well. Like so clearly it wasn't really our error. We all missed it because we'd been sent off to like do something to go and eat in that moment. But yeah, still, I had to be the one to go up to him and say. You realise that's when videos like, for photo they could run up and grab a quick picture of him, picture of the bride crying. It was like we got that moment. Yeah. But for me, I couldn't hide the fact I didn't have like.
These moments aren't necessarily always to be funny. It's to remind us that the weddings are full of moving parts, and when even if you're shooting it by yourself or you're with a team, things can go wrong. And even though you can look at someone's work and think they're absolutely killing it and they're top of their game, we all make mistakes. And that, although saying that, I will stand with you. That's not your fault. The planner who came to you say, shouldn't you be getting this? The planner who handed him a microphone.
I didn't want to throw anyone under the bus, but I was trying to say like. Yeah. Though I know a time that definitely was my fault when I knocked a whole glass of red wine over a guest. That was one.
Ooh.
And that was good because I tried to move it because it sort of was. This was earlier on, and I used to try and move like the little flower thing if I wanted to get the speech from the back. I used to be obsessed about only shooting speeches from the back. So if there was stuff in my way, and I tried to move this flower thing on the table, knock this red wine all over him, and the guy couldn't have reacted worse. It was like he was so angry. So I've never touched anything on a table ever again.
Oh man, it's bringing it
over
back,
the years. So many
it?
like I never touch a dress because I remember. Sorry, you're making me remember all these things. But
It's all coming
this wasn't me. This was a photographer.
You at the end of this, so you can go away.
This
and
is
think
therapy.
about it.
Yeah, exactly. I'll go away going, oh my god, all those moments. No, I had a photographer took a dress, and it was in the days when they used to like put it in a tree, and I remember thinking, why are you doing that? But he put a dress in a tree, and as he did it, he sliced his hand, and blood just went out. And by some miracle, it did miss the dress. But me and him were standing there for a second. I was like, how are you going to explain you've put it in a tree? You've cut, so since then I've never touched. I don't touch like dresses.
Oh my god!
I'm just
not doing it.
I
just say like if that wants to be there, maybe one of your bridesmaids like hang it there, but I'm not going near any of that stuff.
I just don't ever want to touch it. I feel like photographers think I'm being lazy or something. I'm genuinely terrified.
No. Yeah.
Because I cannot.
The idea that before they get married that you've messed up and
just
it's
because
like,
I wanted a
and there's
pretty
no
shot.
going back.
That is not starting the day off well.
No, how do you come back from that?
No, exactly.
You look amazing.
Exactly,
you don't really because I fucked your dress up, but there's
so however cool I think a shot might be with the dress.
You're dressing a tree and it just so happened a bird shat on it. So
I think the dress.
Exactly.
I think the dress will look much better on you than hanging on a tree.
And it's true.
It's true.
Exactly.
It's fucking true.
That's
It
not
was a
gonna go
weird
up on a
moment where
wall.
people used to do that. It was odd. It was
Yeah.
an odd thing. People used to think
People still
they had
do
to
it.
like hang the shoes off a fence, or
People still do
it
it.
was a weird time when. I know. It's like, when do you ever see that though
Yeah.
in real
And
life?
I just
like,
those photographers were, you don't want any of this. I'm like, nah.
No.
I'm like, no, I'm alright.
Like
I'm not being involved.
I've got 5 minutes to fill the highlights, and I can tell you that's
not making
that's
the
not
cut.
making it.
The other thing I never get involved with is with this flat lay thing, you know, where they do flat lays.
I'm shit at those,
not
to be
really
fair.
involved
I
with
did
that.
I did
No,
something
no,
fun
I
at the last wedding where the photographer did a flat lay, and then I got the bridesmaids to like get all their hands and take all the things out the flat lay. Like
Oh, that's cool.
So I did
That's
that.
nice.
So like, and then it's going to be from the flat way to the bride. That's
Yeah.
so like the flat was already there.
that's-
I'm
that's
like,
more interesting.
swipe.
Yeah, use that. Well, Toby, mate, it's been so good getting to chat to you finally today, and thank you so much for taking the time out to come on the pod with us. I know we've both really enjoyed talking to you, and I'm sure our listeners will enjoy having a little listen. For can you let people know what your kind of like your Instagram handle is and stuff, and your website, so they can go and have a nosy?
Yeah. Sure. So it's Handcraft Pictures everywhere. So at Handcraft Pictures, handcraftpictures.com. I basically only use Instagram and my website or whatever. So
Cool.
if people want to message me, they can do it through there.
Mega. Right.
Amazing.
Well, guys, that is all that we have time for this week. Thank you so much, Toby, for coming on. I've been Danny.
I've been Jace.
I've been Toby.
See you next week.